And welcome back to Elevate Us. This is we're a podcast about elevating Black America and moving us forward and having solutions. Instead of us, we like to talk about it. We don't want to just talk about it. We want to be about it. So I just want to welcome everybody back. And if you've been hanging out with me for the last couple of episodes, thank you. I appreciate it. So this is a platform that needs support. We all need to, start diving into these conversations. I'm going to set it up pretty soon where you'll be able to call in and give me some feedback and make some comments. So that way we could just, start seeing what everybody's thinking, not just what I'm thinking. So we're getting there, and we're just going to keep moving along. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've been out here, oh man, since 1998. So this is home. I'm originally from SoCal. I was born in Inglewood, but raised in the Inland Empire. But I just want to first of all, just kind of ask a question based on what I'm gonna be talking about today. So the first thing I'm gonna ask is, who are you? That is the question that I want you to think about. Who are you? And I'm not talking about your name. I'm not talking about, I'm little Jeezy from C Block, nothing like that. I want to know, who are you? Who are you as a person, and why are you here? So it's two parts. So think about that for me and comment in the comment section and let me know, who are you and why are you here? All right. So that's number one. All right. And then number two, the conversation that we're going to have today is going to be a little bit of a history lesson. I'm not going to get too deep, but we got to get, into these things just so that you know who you are, who they are. Anytime that you have a, so-called enemy, you really have to know who your enemy is, and you have to study that enemy. And once you study your enemy and you know everything about them, then it's easier for you to combat or fight or ward off that enemy. So we're going to do that. But before we get into that, I was just listening. I listened to, a lot of different people speak, and just this morning listening to Billy Carson, 19 Keys. I don't know if you guys know who those people are, but that's that higher level conscious talk. And I love listening to the podcast. So, I'm a health, nutrition and diet coach. So it was just funny listening to him. He said, you guys need to stop praying over them hog mogs and that macaroni and cheese, because you asking God to bless something that he told you not to eat. So I thought that was funny. I know some people, they not going to find that too funny, but for me, because I know what this food does to us. He's like, you still gonna get the diabetes, you still gonna get cancer from it, you still gonna have a heart attack from it. So you asking God to bless something that he specifically told you not to eat. So I just ponder on that for the week, okay? So anyway, before we get into this history lesson, I'll give you a little background on me and why I think I can, just break things down a little bit for you. So I from the time I graduated high school in 1987, I've been in college. So I went for business, I went for cosmetology, then I went for accounting, and then I switched up. I went for computers, then I went pre-law, paralegal first, then I went pre-law, and I even went to the School of Hard Knocks. So so I went to school. I studied quite a bit, and I studied at Liberty University, and Liberty University is a white, mostly male, Christian college. And the funny thing about studying with these types of institutions is they really teach to them the type of stuff that they don't teach to us. So when you're studying in these type of facilities, you learn a different perspective. You start learning, you seeing things and learning things in a different way. So um, in taking my pre-law classes, I also took theology, Bible literature, I took physics, metaphysics, I took quantum physics, so I took a lot of classes. And these are, classes that kind of make you look deeper than what is in front of you, And then as a child, we started, going to a Christian college, a Christian church. Probably, I think I was like 8, 9 when we started going to church. And I just remember sitting in church and I would pick up the Bible and I would just start thumbing through the Old Testament and reading things in the Old Testament. And I just feel like God enlightened me at such a young age because he made me look beyond the words and beyond what I was hearing. He made me look at things for, more of a face value. And one thing about the church, and I love the church and I love my church families. And, I love, I have a great appreciation for the church because if it wasn't for the church, then I don't think that I would have developed into who I am today. And I don't think I would have developed the knowledge and the understanding that I have today because of the church. So I never want Christians to think that I bash Christianity because people have to start somewhere. You have to have a start. But we'll get started there and in understanding, who we are, first of all, as people, as Black people. We have to realize that this earth that we live in, it is, hold on, let me make sure I get my numbers right. So the earth is 4.54 billion years old, right? And we know that the first human on this planet was discovered 3.2 million years ago, which was Lucy. And then the modern human was discovered about 200,000 years ago. And then when we get to what the Bible the Bible describes as Adam and Eve, which we know is the atom and the Eve gene, that would be about 6,000 years ago, right? So if you stop taking the Bible for what they're trying to give you the perception of, that Adam and Eve were the first people to walk the earth, they weren't. The Bible doesn't even tell you that, because in Genesis 1:26-27, they tell you that God created male, female, spread them throughout the earth. He told them, go be fruitful. So we know that in the creation of the earth, which we know was 4 something billion years ago, that, alongside of everything else being created, human beings were being created. So these first people that were created were people of color. They were people that, had melanin. We know they were found in Africa. Science is science, and they tell us this all the time. So that's why I tell people, sometimes you got to look beyond, not look beyond the Bible, but you got to understand the Bible. You got to dig a little deeper into the Bible, because the Bible is scratching a surface. It's giving you the story that that our oppressors want us to have, because that's the way that they fashioned that book to be. Because of course they've taken a lot of important parts out of the Bible and they've hidden it away from your knowledge, so that way you don't look deeper into things, right? So now we're at 6,000 years ago, where the atom, and we know what an atom is, right? The atom contains the electron, the protons, and the neutrons, which the chemical makeup for proton, neutron, and electron is 666. There's 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, right? So, that's one of the things that they kind of scare you with the 666, by telling you that it's the sign of the beast. And I'm not going to go too deep into that, but just understand that the 666 is the chemical makeup for melanin. So I'm going to let you just kind of chew on that for a second too. So it's actually carbon, but carbon is the substance that creates the melanin that gives us our color structure that we have. But in saying that, now let's get down to when we saw non-carbon people hit the earth, right? So if you're going into the Bible, you're going to Exodus 4, chapter 6. God tells Moses to put his hand inside of his bosom. He says, pull your hand out, and his hand is white as snow. And God says, this is leprosy. This is an abomination. Anybody that has leprosy, they can't be a part of your camp, right? So you have to go through all these different things. If there's a small scab, if it's a little bit of white, then the priest can help, they can get cured or whatever, and then they can come back into the camp. But if they're afflicted and their whole body is covered with leprosy, which means their skin has turned white, then they had to be set aside from the camp. They had to be completely out of the camp. They could not be in. They were disconnected from God. It was an abomination. It was a sin. And God was completely disconnected from the people who had this white skin. Right. So now if you go to like Numbers, the book of Numbers, chapter 5, I think verse 1 through 4, it talks about how Moses took them out of the camp and took them into the Caucasus Mountains. All right. So now you have, because there was already, remember, Neanderthal man was already roaming the earth, but now you have these other melanated people that was taken away from original camps, and they were sent off to the Caucasus Mountains. Right. So now what I'm going to say next, I know it don't sit well with people, but science is science. And you have to understand that science is the language of spirituality. You also have to understand that God is science, and that without God there would be no science. So the two, they correlate. And it doesn't matter what religion you believe in. It doesn't really matter if you believe in God or Allah or Buddha or whatever it is, or Yahweh, whatever you believe in. We all know that we have a creator, and our creator is a higher intelligence, and that creator made each and every one of us in his image, and he all gave us that God energy to bring us alive, right? So that's how we know that we are a God. We know that we are gods because we have God energy in us that gives us life and brings us to form. So as we know, cavemen, they started to domesticate animals, and they did a lot of inbreeding, right? And a lot of this was done with wolves, hence the quote, dog is man's best friend. And I always thought it was kind of funny that dog was God, backwards. And I could get into really the word God, but I'm not going there just yet because I don't want to. I need y'all to stay with me. So, but these people, they started inbreeding with wolves because if you kind of know and you research, blue eyes come from wolves. So their puppies are born with blue eyes, and it's actually a mutation. And then the original people, of course, our hair was, well, not our hair was more coarse, hair was more woolly. So through domestication and inbreeding, these people now develop blue eyes, and they developed straight hair, and they, their white skin was already predominant. And they were, in the hills and caves of Europe in the Caucasus Mountains. So the Egyptians actually saw this going on, and the Egyptians went and taught them how to cook their food, taught them alchemy, taught them languages, taught them how to do all these different things because they were very savage. So once they did that and they emerged from the hills and they ran down into the countryside, and they saw all these peaceful black people, they was just down here, very peaceful people. We've always been peaceful people. We've never been ones to, for a whole lot of violence, but they came down and they were very savage, and they started to kill off every person that they saw, and they started taking over all these different areas. So they emerged, and you can look it up. All the original Greeks, all the original Romans, they are all black people. The original Asians, the original Aboriginals, everything. The further you dig into any person on this earth, you're always gonna come up with something black. All right, guaranteed. So as they started to come down and they started to savagely kill and they started to savagely take over all these different areas, they first of all were they was very mad at black people for putting them in the conditions that they were in, and they were disconnected from God. And because of that, they created their own gods. That's where you get your Greek gods and your Zeus and your, Thors and all this other stuff. That's all of them trying to create a god because they didn't have connection to the God, to source. So I'll just, and everything that I'm saying to you, this is all scientifically proven. Nothing that I say to you, I don't say anything unless I've researched it and I've already looked it up. So these are things that I know to be true. So anybody that, if you want to Google any of this stuff, you can always Google it. You can always, Google is you just got to make sure you're looking at the right source, make sure that you're getting the right information. All right. So anyway, they were very savage, killed off a lot of black people, took over a lot of different areas of land, and from there, because the Egyptians did give them some knowledge and some information, they learned to be a little more tactical. All right. And that's how we get to back over to us, you know, if you go by the Bible. So, and then let me just explain the Bible really quick. The Bible is really a book talking about one family line. The Bible is not talking about everybody in the whole world. We're talking about a family, one lineage, right? But that lineage, it's, we already know that they were very hard headed. The Bible says stiff neck, but I think hard headed explains it better, and they never wanted to listen. They always wanted to do something different. They were building statues, worshiping statues, doing everything against what God told them to do. So, God cut his people off. I'm giving you guys a short version. They were cut off. They were left to wander around in the wilderness, and that's just what they did. So as they wandered around in the wilderness, they got onto the shores of Africa, and these savage white men, they and let me go back because white is not a race. White's not a race, black is not a race. So these savage Europeans, they, knew that God's chosen people were wandering aimlessly with no direction and had been cut off from God. So the fact that we specifically were brought here to this country from Africa was no mistake. Nothing was a mistake. Everything was done exactly the way that it was supposed to be done. It's written in the Bible. It even tells us that, for 400 years that, we will suffer and will be in bondage. So, and I know there's a lot of people that say, well, the Bible is this, the Bible is that, the Bible's not real, the Bible is that, it's just a storybook. And the Bible, like I said, it is a storybook, but there's also hidden prophecy in the Bible. So the stories that are in the Bible, those stories are to help you. All it is putting together a puzzle. It's putting together a puzzle, and those who have, the understanding to know exactly what it's talking about will understand that the hidden puzzle piece is just telling you that you are a God and that you have the ability to be who you want to be in this life, right? So back to us getting over here, over to America. When they came and took us from Africa and brought us over to this country, they didn't bring just a bunch of ignorant black people over here. Mm-mm. No, the slaves were not ignorant at all. These were creative people. They were inventors. They were artists. They were musicians. They were mathematicians. They were scientists. These people they had so much knowledge and so much information and so much intelligence. But they just used confusion to bring us under rule. So that's why I say in the question of who are you, who are you and why are you here? These are the things that you have to think about because we know that nothing happens by mistake. Nothing on this planet happens by mistake. Everything that happens has already been, it's something that's already been thought out. And, I know a lot of people say, well, we have free will. Of course we have free will, and the free will is, are you going to, it's all based on what outcome you're going to get based on the decision that you make, but again, is it really free will? Because regardless of whatever the outcome is, our creator already knows and already has it planned out, what direction we're going to take and what the outcome is going to be. So with us here in America, us Black people here in America, we come from a long line of creativity and art and science and math and, ingenuity. Like I said, this country wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for us. We are the ones that built this country. We are the ones that came over here and invented all these different things. And these people were, savage. You have to, you're a savage if you can kill people the way that you do, the way that they did, and take life the way that they did. So, compare your intelligence, your DNA, what's in your DNA compared to what's in their DNA. And we're fighting this enemy in America the wrong way. We're fighting them the wrong way because now that they came over here and they developed a system that was designed to keep us in confusion. The language was designed to confuse us. Their laws are designed to confuse us. Just their currency, the way that they trade on the stock market, everything they do is a design to keep us in confusion. But you can bring yourself out of that confusion if you just really start tapping into who you are and you start using your mind the way that it's supposed to be used. You start educating yourself and you start learning these systems. We're never going to win. We're never going to come out of the condition that we're in if we don't start educating ourselves on these systems that they have in place here. So we have to start, stop being in the mindset. Everyone this last week talked about Ciara and this dress that she wore to the Oscars, so it's funny because you hear the women saying, well, she's a grown woman. She could do what she want to do. And then you hear the men, like, nah, not my wife. The women, the reason why we're okay with seeing her out in public like this naked, because we all the women in America, Black women, have been so subjected to sexualization in this country that we think it's perfectly fine to walk around naked like that. Because white men have always been, they display our big butt and they display our big tits and they display, all the anatomy of a Black woman. And that's really where they see our worth. They don't see the worth. That's why we can't get business loans. We can't, it's hard for us to start up a business. It's hard for us to go, get educated. It's hard for us to do all these other things, but they definitely want you to be out there being sexual, to sexualize yourself, so that's why with Black women, we think it's perfectly fine for our Black women to walk around like this because we have become Hollywood sluts. Hollywood has put in our mind that it's okay for us to walk around like this and this is how we get attention. And we're so confused. We even think that that's how we get a man. We think that is perfectly fine, but it's not. We are a product of this country and we have become just so, indoctrinated into all of the evil that they do here that we don't see anything wrong with it. That's the kind of mindset that we have to get out of, and then people are always asking, why marriage doesn't last like our grandparents. Well, I know for sure my grandma Odell wasn't walking around half naked, and I know for sure that she was making sure that her household was taken care of, and she was making sure that, while my grandfather was out doing whatever, if he had to work or whatever he was doing, she made sure that he was coming home to an environment that was comfortable for him so he could prepare for the next day to go to work to make sure that the bills were being paid. But, we live in a society now where women are like, I'm not just staying home and cooking, and I'm not just staying home and taking care of the kids, and that's fine because we live in a world now where you literally do have to have two people, two parents in the home, two breadwinners, in order to survive, but you have to also understand that if you want these marriages like our grandparents had, then you have to be willing to make a sacrifice for your family and make sure that your family is taken care of, so, and again, getting back to who are we and why are we here, you look at a lot of other cultures, and the reason why these cultures flourish the way that they do, it's because they're very family oriented. They take care of their families. They look out for each other. They make sure that there's a structure in the household. Everybody follows their structure. But we have no structure because everything has been broken up in our just in society alone. So not only are they looking out for their own household, they're looking out for their community, and that's how they build and that's how they thrive together. We don't have community. We all of that was taken away from us a long time ago. So we have to learn how to get back. And it's going to start with knowing who you are, knowing that you have God energy in you. That's you are a creation that was made by a creator, and that creator said, I'm going to make you in my image. But you have to figure out how to use that God energy. You have to understand that within each and every one of us, that atom that's inside of us, and that Eve gene that's inside of the Black woman. What is the Eve gene? It's the mitochondrial DNA that creates us to be able to create all creations, all the other human beings on this planet. That's what that is. So don't stop letting religion have you so twisted to where you say, well, I don't believe in science, I believe in the Bible. Without science, there is no Bible. Without science, we don't know the facts of this earth that we live in. Without science, we don't know that the earth is 4.54 billion years old. Without science, we don't know that the first Black female was found 3.2 million years ago in Ethiopia, and they named her Lucy. These are all the things that science teaches us. But we get all of this by having that God energy in us, by understanding who we are, understanding what we're doing, what we're supposed to be doing while we're on this earth. Stop wasting your time. We spend so much time worrying about entertainers. And as Black people, we love to eat, we love to drink, we love to smoke, we love to party, we love to do all these things that's not leading us into nothing. It's just leading you into death. And then you just got to come back and recycle and do all this stuff again because you think that you're going to get to heaven. And how on earth do you think that you get to go meet God when you spent your whole lifetime here in this existence doing everything that goes against him? Make it make sense. It's got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't add up. So those are some things that I just want you guys to think about for the week. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think. I know that there's going to be, like I said before, everybody's not going to agree with me. And that's fine. Not supposed to. But you can look it up for yourself. Everything that I'm telling you, this is all stuff that you can go research and find out for yourself. So when you start opening up your mind and start opening up, having a deeper understanding of who you are and, what you're doing here, then everything will start to come to you and you'll start to understand it. So let me know. And again, I first want to say that I have a cleansing tea. So the cleansing tea that I have it's literally a full body reset. So if you suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, Even cancers. I'm not saying that this is a cure. All I'm saying is that this is going to help you in your fight against these diseases, to cleanse your body of toxins and to do a full body reset. So if you're interested in doing a cleanse, contact me and I can get you set up on the tea. And then also, more exciting than that, we have an energy drink. And this isn't just, it's not energy drink like you think, not like a Red Bull or a Monster or anything like that. This is, hold on a second, turn off that. This is mental energy. All right, Get Mossed. If you my Instagram page is Get Moss 369. If you go there, you will see all the instructions on how to order this drink. This drink is phenomenal. All right. I started going back to the gym about 2 weeks ago, and I really haven't been consistent with the gym in a couple of years. So put the drink together. I drank it, went to the gym, and I had some goals set out, 30-day goals set out. So I was like, okay, within 30 days, I'm gonna be on this treadmill. I'm gonna be running for 5 minutes. So I'm asthmatic, so it's really hard for me to run, but I gotta build myself up to it and I could get there. So started drinking the drink on Wednesday. I went started Monday in the gym, started drinking the drink on Wednesday. I kid you not. All right. By Friday, I was running on the treadmill. And I was astonished myself because I didn't know how the herbal blend was gonna work. But once I started drinking it, it just kind of gave me that mindset like I could do anything. So I'm on the treadmill, I start running, and then I looked over and there was this girl running next to me. She's a younger girl and she was like tun tun tun. I was running the same speed as her. So I'm running and I'm looking at her and I was like, okay, so I had that, I had the momentum going. And then all last week, consistently in the gym, been there every single day, working myself up. I'm still, at that 5 minutes of running, which is great. I haven't done that since I was a teenager, so it's definitely helping me to not just have, like I said, not just the energy, but it gives you that mental focus that makes you think that you can conquer the world. And you really, once you drink this drink, you will get tasks done, things will happen in your life. And I'm not saying it's a miracle drink, but I'm saying for me it was a miracle drink. So if you are interested in Get Mossed, just hit me up. And also, you can go to the Instagram page, Get Moss 369. So go check it out and see what it's all about. All right. So I'm out and I will see you guys back here next Sunday, same time here from Las Vegas. Love y'all. Peace. Elevate us.